Hey guys, and welcome back to the Thelearningdroid. Today, sorry, bit of dust. Today it's the first episode in our look at the beginner's guide to the Weller wood burning and hobbyist kit. I'm not employed by Weller, guys. I have nothing to do with Weller. I paid for the machine. Only reason I'm doing this guide is I've had some requests for it. For the most part, it applies to any solid point machine, specifically to single temperature solid point machines. So let's have a quick look. With the kit, as you'll have seen in my review and my unboxing, you get a box that I'm using for something else because I've got my big storage box here, guys. You get a selection of bits, the machine, instruction manual, a couple of designs, guys. These are actually really nice. They have some nice flower designs, they have some letters and numbers that you can put into your machine. These are all Xeroxed, so what you can do is you can use them for direct laser patterning. What I would recommend is getting them photocopied before you use them so that you don't lose them, because once you've used a pattern for heat transfer patterning, you can't really use it again. The other thing you get, of course, is the machine and a stand for it, like this. What I would recommend getting is a glass or ceramic dish or a ceramic tile to put the hot bits on, because the bits stay hot for a long period of time because it's a solid bit machine. A brush, brass and steel wires for cleaning. Some people recommend a stropping strip, which is used for stropping blades, like they use in barber shops in old movies, and some stropping paste to clean your bits with. To be perfectly honest, that's quite expensive and it doesn't do a really good job, or it doesn't do that much of a better job compared with a £1 brass and steel wire brush. You can, if you want to get really accurate results and you want to get really good results with your tips and keep them going for a really long time, use stropping powder or stropping paste and a strop strip. But the other thing I really recommend, guys, is these pliers. Seriously, these are mini modelling pliers, and mini modelling pliers are best for this because of the size of the bits you're working with. This is a real time saver, guys. We'll get on to talking about the heat problems in a second, but basically, if you want to change bits on the machine, leaving it to cool down takes 10 minutes a time, whereas if you've got these little modelling pliers, you can get them in a pack of 5 pairs, or individually. Individually in the UK they're going to cost you about £1. In a pack of 5 they're probably going to cost you about £4.99, maybe a little bit less if you're going for cheap ones. Of course you can get ones that cost £7 on their own, and in a pack of 5 will cost you £40, but that's just the way some things are. So let's have a quick talk about the machine. The Weller wood burning and hobbyist kit is a single temperature solid point machine. So basically what that means is the solid point bit of it simply refers to these screw-in points. They are solid bits of brass, I believe. These ones are. And that means that they can't be heated via electricity running through them, which means that the heating has to come from somewhere else. In the case of this machine, the heating comes from this section here. There's a heating coil inside, electricity runs through the heating coil and heats this up. You've got a single heat shield, and then you've got a big plastic holder, big plastic pen part to hold it by. This is a quite thick pen, and I would say those with very small hands or those looking to do detail work might not want to go for this machine. The heat shield and the pen give you a little bit of protection because it's got a nice hollow on the inside of the pen. This gets very hot, guys. Takes a while to heat up, but it gets very hot. And this whole section gets hot, literally right up even beyond the heat shield, gets very hot. So touching this is a bad idea once it's on. The disadvantage of that is when you're working on pieces, of course, you're a long way away from them, and if any of this touches it, you're going to get ancillary burns, extra burns you don't want. It's also a single temperature machine, which means that it plugs in, it heats up. There's no transformer, there's no variation technique, there's no base unit to use to vary the temperature. You can get pen-only machines without base units that have a couple of temperature settings. The most I've ever seen on a pen unit is 4 settings, but that, as they gain more and more settings, the pen gets bigger and bigger to accommodate the extra electronics required to do the different settings. So the more settings you have, you get a bigger pen. Of course, it gives you a bit more variety, and you can get solid point machines that have a base unit that gives you a lot of variation in temperature. Base unit machines are best when it comes to variable temperatures, but for this machine there's no base unit, we have one temperature. Doesn't mean we can't play with the temperature, but we only have one temperature. The stand it comes with is very light, and it won't support the pull of the cable because the cable is quite thick and heavy. So it's always best if you tape it down to the table, or if you're a bit careful when you put things on. So as it comes to the individual bits, with solid point machines most bits are pretty standardized. This is the bit I use most with this machine. It's a patterning bit, and it's literally used for transferring patterns. It can be used for a couple of other things, but I'll get into those when we talk about the actual video. The Weller wood burning hobbyist kit also comes with 3 pattern stamps, or 3 branding stamps. We've got a line, a cube, square pattern, and then a hexagonal pattern, I believe. Is it hexagonal? No, yeah, hexagonal pattern. On top of that we have a sharp point bit, a pair of chisel bits, a slipper bit, a bit that is a craft knife bit. So it's literally just a standard craft knife insert used for pinching craft knives, and you can put craft knife blades in that. And the final bit we have is a little rounded bit. So we're going to get on to talking about each of these bits. I'm failing miserably to get them out for some reason. My hands are a little bit stiff at the moment. But we'll go on to moving to talk about all these different bits and to show me using them. And again, I'll be aiming for about a 5-minute video on each bit, explaining how I've used it, what I've used it for, what I've found it can do, and showing some examples of that. Just at the end of this video, guys, when we move on to doing the different bits, this is the wood I've got. This is pine. It's left over from a piece I did on a pallet. It's got a knot in it. It's been sanded with 360 sandpaper just to prep it for this on this side. So we've got a 360 sanded section there. As well as pine, we've got some pine again, I think. I'm pretty sure this is pine. Once again sanded with 360 to prep that. Then we've got some basswood, also known as lime or lindlewood. This is just a piece from a modelling shop. It's a little bit that I tried to pattern on and the pattern didn't come out right, so it's a little bit of scrap wood. It's always good, guys, to keep a bit of scrap of whatever you're working with. So for instance, this is my standard scrap for working basswood, and you can see it's been used a lot, and it's just used to test temperatures, test inks, test finishes, test whatever I want to test. And also when I do leather, I've got a little bit of scrap leather that I use to work on. So guys, this is for the Weller wood burning and hobbyist kit, and now we'll move on to have a little bit closer look at some of the different tips. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes.